Good afternoon and welcome to the Gary Goff Show here on the Tiffin University Dragon Radio Network. I'd like to thank our sponsors for bringing you this show today. Our title sponsors include CF Professionals Incorporated, Gary Gruse's office, and the Ohio Mutual Insurance Group, Jim Kennedy's office. Our other sponsors include the Pioneer Mill Restaurant in Tiffin, Ralph's Joy of Living in Tiffin and in Fremont, Seneca Hills Golf Course, State Farm Insurance at Lape's office, Steyer Seeds, Tiffin Ace Hardware, Viewpoint Graphics, and Marco's Pizza. I'm Russ Snyder, voice of the Dragon, alongside Tiffin University head football coach Gary Goff. Coach, how you doing today, sir?
Doing good.
All right, well, let's get right into it. First of all, let's talk. We got Senior Week coming up. It's always a special week when your final. It's hard. First of all, it's hard to believe it's final home game of the season already.
Oh, no doubt.
But it's always a special week when you get to have those seniors have their last home game at Frost Countdown Stadium.
Yeah, we'll have all their families come back in. We acknowledge them before the game and all that stuff. So yeah, it'll be a good weekend for us, and good for those families that aren't from the area to travel in and watch their sons play their last home game.
Well, last weekend we had what I'd say is probably the craziest game we've had so far this year, especially the first half. It was just a total insane football game. But let's get right into it, Coach. Took on the Walsh Cavaliers at Frost Countdown Stadium, and the weather, boy, it was a windy, blustery day down there.
Yeah.
What, 25 to 30 mile per hour winds throughout the game?
Yeah, it reminded me of the first season we played Northwood here, and we had 50-mile-an-hour wind gusts.
Yeah.
Reminded me of that. But the weather was not great Saturday.
Yeah,
I guess it could have been worse, but.
What I was impressed with was Tomislav Derizic being able to. He was pounding the ball pretty well with that with the wind. He did miss a field goal, but on his kickoffs, I thought he did pretty well considering the conditions he was dealing with.
Yeah, that's where you worry about the wind. It really comes into the kicking game, and when you're kicking into a stiff wind like that, you never know what's going to happen, whether it's a kickoff or punt. And Tomislav's got a strong leg, and he handled it pretty well for the most part of the day. And then obviously with the wind to his back, he can kick it out of the end zone.
Well, we were watching the Walsh kicker in the pre-games. He was putting it on the 50-yard line with the wind at his back and making it through there. That tells you what kind of wind there was down there on the stadium that day. Well, Dragons and the Cavaliers got at it this past Saturday, as we said, and the Dragons cracked the scoreboard first. Antonio Pipkin, a 3-yard touchdown pass to freshman running back Jerry Brown, a 6-play, 48-yard drive, 3 minutes and 16 seconds off of the clock, and the Dragons take an early 7-0 lead.
Yeah, that drive was set up by our kickoff return unit, which has been doing a great job all year. We returned that one, almost to the 50, and set us up right there. 6 plays later we score. I think on that drive we were 5 of 5 in passing, and converted on some really big screens to get some good yardage right there. And then, for the score right there, Pipkin does a good job of finding Jerry Brown. Jerry Brown makes a nice catch, and then, breaks a couple tackles, go in for the first.
That's when he went kind of head over heels.
Yeah, he kind of looks like he was caught in between from jumping over the guy or running through him. So, but hey, touchdown's a touchdown.
Absolutely. So the Dragons take an early 7-0 lead, but the Walsh Cavaliers respond. They answer a 19-yard touchdown pass from it was a wide receiver throwing the pass after it was an interception that set it up.
Right.
Ball got returned down to, I believe it was at the 19-yard line.
Yeah.
They run an end around with a pass and.
Well, we trade interceptions right there.
That's true. Yes.
The pursuing drive by Walsh. We step in front and pick off a pass. Stephon Willis, who had a great game, and then 2 plays later, we make a bad decision. Pipkin was scrambling right there under some pressure, and rookie mistake. He kind of throws it up late, down the sideline, and the corner's sitting right there in zone coverage and is watching him. And you have to point that out to him today on film. Is when they're playing zone and you're scrambling, you can't throw it late back down the sideline or across the middle. You got to learn how to just throw it away. Live to play the next play right there. And so a little bit of a rookie mistake right there by us. But yeah, that their corner sat there and waited for him to throw it late and picked it off and had a nice return. And then change of possession, expect some type of shot at the end zone.
Yeah, short field too.
Right, and that's exactly what they did. And, right there we traded interceptions and gave them, an easy score to get them on the board.
You brought up Stephon Willis' name with his interception. He was our Marco's Pizza Defensive Player of the Game on Saturday. He played a really nice football game for you.
Yeah, had a nice kickoff, several nice kickoff returns, and, that big interception right there, so he did.
Well, the game was tied up at 7-7, and speaking of interceptions, the next score in the first quarter, this is all happening in the first quarter, folks. We're at 7-7, and Brian McCorkle, linebacker for the Dragons, steps inside of a pass and takes it 53 yards to the house for the Dragons to take a 14-7 lead.
Yeah, I tell you what, beautiful play. And that's the first time all year our defense has scored. And, when your defense scores, that's usually one of the number one determining factors to wins and losses. And McCorkle did a good job right there. He stepped in front of the ball. He was in the right spot. He peeled off number 3 perfect. And, took it for a big 6. And, it was good to see him make a big play right there. He's a senior. He's been through a lot of wars here at Tiffin University, and that was an exciting play for him.
Yeah, I don't even think he got touched on the way to the end zone. Yeah.
No, he he was probably closest guy might have been 10 yards away,
Yeah.
maybe.
Well, at that point, the Dragons have a 14-7 lead. Walsh gets the ball back, and within a minute later, they're a quick 3-and-out, and they set up for a punt. And gentleman who'll be joining us on the program here later, Terry Harper, steps aside in front. I believe he's got his right hand up, blocked the punt, goes out the back of the end zone. There's a safety, 2 more points for the Dragons.
Yeah, no doubt. We knew that we could get pressure on their punt unit right there, and Coach Eisen did a great job of scheming that up. And Terry came right through the hole right there, pretty much untouched, and made a nice block. And I'll tell you though, I've never seen somebody block a ball with one hand and then it go 30 yards straight back out of bounds.
And it was into the wind as well.
Into the wind.
Yeah.
Obviously we'll take the 2 points. It's great play. But when it happened, I think we were all sitting there thinking we're going to recover it in the end zone for a touchdown because there's nobody else around but our players. And no, it went straight backwards 30 yards out of bounds.
One of those Dikembe Mutombos.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, at that point, the Dragons have a 16-7 lead, and there's still one more score to be had in the first quarter, and that was, again, from Walsh, Pierre Raymond, a 60-yard interception return off the end. That's the second pick of the first quarter from Antonio Pipkin, and that makes the score 16-14 at the 1 quarter play.
Yeah, obviously it wasn't a very good game for our quarterback right there. Made another bad decision right there. Got happy feet in the pocket a little bit right there, and read the defense wrong. He kind of threw a ball that we talk about during against the man coverage. It was zone. We also had a receiver make a bad read as well because he ran a man route instead of the zone beater right there and continued to climb. And so 2 wrongs right there definitely set us up for the pick. And that right there, we got to overcome them. We can't let a bad player here or there leads to snowballing and playing a horrible game right there. And I really felt that pick right there really shook us a little bit. And then from that point on, we didn't play very well up front as well. So those 2 things put together, boy, it was going to be a long day.
And Deriza got a missed field goal in the first quarter as well.
Yeah,
right upright.
Yeah, we got down to the 3-yard line, I believe, and again, wind at our back, and missed an important kick right there. As you never know, how close the game will be at the very end, but that field goal right there was very, very big.
Yes, it was.
We ended up losing by 1, and that was 3 points we should have had.
Well, after 1 quarter of play, though, the Dragons still have a 16-14 lead. As I said, that was by far the craziest quarter of football that we have seen in any Dragon game this year. I mean, you think about that, a safety, an interception return for a touchdown, or 2 interception returns for touchdowns, 1 on each team, and a huge kickoff return. So it was just a crazy first quarter of football, to say the least.
It's still pretty. It ended up as a crazy game for the rest of the quarters.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess it kind of set it all up right there, didn't it?
Strange things.
Well, the second quarter gets underway, and the Dragons have the first ones to crack the scoreboard after a 4-play minute and 35-second off the clock. Thomas Deriza 45-yard field goal. He really got a hold of that one. And you guys take a 19-14 lead.
Yeah, another frustrating drive right there. We had a penalty that backed us up and put us in 3rd and long. And we were right around the 30-yard line, give or take, when that all happened. And we had the winner our back, and Thomas Law's got a strong leg, so we decided to kick it right there, and he nailed it right down the middle. So great to end a drive with points, but obviously we won 7, not 3.
Yeah, all this scoring in the first quarter, things kind of settled down a little bit scoring-wise in the second quarter. As that kick came at the 6:13 mark of the second quarter, and then Walsh answers another field goal down to the 3-minute and 2-second mark of the second quarter. Michael Dudek's a 36-yard field goal after a 13-play and 56-yard drive to take 3:11 off the clock. So 19-17, Dragons still in the lead.
Yeah, I kind of think they kind of found a little bit of rhythm offensively right there. That was one of their longest drives of the day, and they came out in the third quarter and kind of did the same thing with that type of drive as well. So, long drives like that kind of hurt when defense is left on the field and your opposition goes out there and gets points on the board.
Well, Stephon Willis, we said his name a little while ago, and he answers that field goal with an 87-yard kickoff return at the 2-minute and 46-second mark of the first quarter, or the first half, and the Dragons now have a 26-17 lead. It's great to see your kids answer right after that field goal.
Oh, no doubt. And, our kickoff return unit is very dangerous. We got him, Marcus Spearman, and Tony Shedd back there.
Yeah.
And that's kind of why we put in this scheme back there. I got this kickoff return from Spike Dykes.
Yeah, and it still confuses me still to this day. Every darn game I get confused. I don't know who's got the ball for a little bit.
Yeah, when Spike Dyke was at Texas Tech, he was the only team in the country that ran this return. And when I started working for Hal Mummy at, first of all, we ran it when I was at Valley State as a player. When I started working for Hal at Southeastern Louisiana, we called Spike Dykes, and I talked to Spike on the phone about, hey, what do you do here? How do you block it up? What's the exchange? When do you make certain calls? And I've been coaching it ever since, and it's got big play ability on it. When we were at Southeastern, we led the country in kickoff return yardage. I think Keelan Davis was our returner there, but he had 3 touchdowns in a year, and then the other guy had 2 touchdowns the same year. So, at some point you'll start seeing more and more teams sky it and squib kick it, keep it away from them. But when they do that, we've won the battle because we'd much rather start on the 35, 40-yard line than somebody pin us deep.
Absolutely. Well, the Dragons have a 9-point lead at that time. They've stretched the lead up to a 2-score advantage, but they're not done yet because 39 seconds left to go in the first half. It's always good to get that late score. It's been a hinder a couple times this year, but this week we got it back, and Drezik in our field goal this time for 33 yards, 29-17 at the half.
Yeah, I thought the kids handled that situation very well. We did it the week before against South Dakota. And this week no different. We had plenty of time, and with the no huddle offense and always in the attack mode, it doesn't bother us that you look up and see only 40 seconds on the clock, and we were in good shape right there. So it was great to get into halftime with yet another scoring drive.
We said Antonio didn't have one of his better games at the quarterback position, but still at the first half he was 23 of 30 with those 2 interceptions for 162 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah, the interceptions hurt you.
Yeah, absolutely.
You always talk about winning the turnover battle, and pick sixes. I mean, we had the momentum because we had the pick six, and then we gave it right back to them. I mean, those are stats right there that I don't want to accept fumbles by no means either, but pick sixes, they demoralize you.
Yeah, absolutely. And well, consider the other one that was an interception was turned down to 19-yard line. They scored 1 play later too. So. Yeah. And then their quarterback, Paul Kemp, was only 6 of 20 for 54 yards. Your defense played a very good first half.
Yeah, they did. I guess they confused that guy some, and he didn't know whether to throw it or run it. They run the zone scheme where he's got the option to tuck it and run or throw it, and it seems like he didn't know where to throw it, and we had him covered in the secondary, and he decided to turn it upfield some, and they weren't very happy with his play. Obviously, they benched him at halftime, but the young man's a great player, and he started 7 games for him, so. Kudos to the defense right there for rattling him and getting him out of the ball game.
Well, that's a crazy first half. Let's step aside and take a break and come back and talk about the even crazier second half.
Yeah.
You are watching and listening to the Gary Goff Show here on the Tiffany University Dragon Radio Network. Welcome back to the Gary Goff Show here on the Tiffany University Dragon Radio Network. I'd like to thank our title sponsors, CF Professionals Incorporated, Gary Gruse's office, and the Ohio Mutual Insurance Group, Jim Kennedy's office. Well, Coach, at the halftime, your score is 29-17. Dragons a 12-point lead. What kind of adjustments did you make at the half?
Well, we weren't very effective in the first half running the football, and so they came into that game really pinching their defensive linemen, twisting them, running on stunts on every play, bringing pressure off both edges. And we talked about they've stopped their zone. We really need to get into more 2 backs and trying to run it a little bit more. And and we told them, we told the players, hey, especially the offensive line and running backs, if we don't run the ball in the second half, we're going to be in trouble. And then also we gave them the typical speech of, hey, it's 0-0. We've done a good job in the first half. We made a few mistakes. Let's forget about that and play the next play. But it's 0-0. It's a brand new ball game, and Walsh was no different. They treated it as 0-0 and came back and really got after there in the third quarter.
Well, they cracked the scoreboard at the 6 minutes and 44-second mark of the third quarter. Aaron Mayo, a 6-yard touchdown run after a 12-play, 59-yard drive, taking 3:23 out the clock, and now the score is only a 5-point game at 29-24.
Yeah, defense did a good job to start the third quarter. They got them to go 3 and out, and we decided to have to take the win there in the third quarter. And they punted, gave us great field position right there. And we were right outside the red zone, basically, 25, 30-yard line, and we got a penalty, so we got called for a chop block, and we had one of our center cut a guy. We had our guard trying to get around him to climb to that linebacker, and got caught for the high-low right there, which was the right call, and that hurt us. That was kind of a turning point in some sense right there, because with a 12-point lead, defense stopped them, offense on the field with good field position. Yeah. If you get points on the board right there, then Walsh is over there thinking, wow, we're in trouble. Mm-hmm. But instead, they stop us. We get the penalty. We're way backed up, and they get the ball and they put a long drive together and get points on the board. I don't know if that was a 10-play drive, I believe. 12-play drive, and they scored. So that's with their backup quarterback. They kind of found some rhythm right there, and really. They were running zone and throwing screens outside, something that we typically do.
They seem to pick up their pace a little bit on the offensive side when they brought in Fracassa. John Fracassi is a senior they brought in to replace Paul Kemp, and it really did seem like they picked up their pace a little bit.
Sure.
They found their rhythm when they picked up the pace as well.
They did.
Well, Fracassa ended up scoring himself a 2-yard run, the backup quarterback who comes in, after a 10-play, 65-yard drive, taking 2 minutes and 47 seconds off the clock, and now Walsh has a 1-point lead.
Yeah, and that drive there too, we too many missed tackles. We had one of our defensive linemen, take a peek in the wrong gap when he's not supposed to be there. It's a linebacker's gap. And it just so happens when you do that, running back cuts it back. There's nobody there to tackle him, and so he broke a long run right there to set him up for that scoring drive by the quarterback. But a little frustration right there. That drive also is when we had a scoop and score.
Yes.
They threw a lateral.
Another touchdown for Stephon Willis.
Yes, we had scoop and score with 86 yards. There was no whistle. There was no nothing. We're celebrating on the sideline, and then the officials decide to overturn the play. Mm-hmm. I'm still confused at how they did that. I didn't really get an explanation of why they did it and whose call it was. I just know the guy who's supposed to make the call didn't see it that way, but somebody overturned him. So, again, very frustrating moment because, at that point, our team lost all momentum.
Yeah.
We were flat, and we kind of went into panic mode.
Well, it puts you up by 2 scores.
Right, and we had a big lead at halftime, and then we come out and scoop and score, and now we look up and we're down a point. Mm-hmm. But you know what? We've got to have the attitude of it's us against the world. Yeah. Because in a lot of aspects it is. And no matter what happens, we have to learn how to battle back and respond, overcome adversity. Because every football game you watch, I don't care if it's the #1 team in the country, they're going to face some type of adversity in the game, and how do they handle that? How do they overcome that? So. We preach and talk about that a lot, but boy, I tell you what, that took a lot of wind out of our sails right there, and I at worst I wish it was just blown dead so we didn't run 86 yards for the touchdown because our defense was gassed.
Yeah, well, I think I could hear you in the press box trying to get the officials' attention there on the sideline. Yeah. And the thing that I question as well is why they didn't reset the clock after that, because if it was a dead ball, the whistle, if the pass was incomplete, the time that was
should have ran
down the field should have been back on the clock. So,
right.
And we could have used an extra 8-10 seconds there at the end of the ball game.
Well, we all know. I mean, the officials are part of the game, and they are never wrong because Division II, we don't have instant replay.
Right.
So
I brought that up in the press box about getting the extra cameras and instant replay installed across town now. But,
yeah, exactly. But anyway, we got to learn how to overcome that. And like I said, I told the team today, hey, we got to have the attitude. It's us against the world, because right now we're the only people that believe we can do it. I can promise you nobody outside this room believes we can, and it's right there in front of us. And that moment right there, we can't let it get the best of us. No matter if we think personally it's a bad call or not, we got to deal with what was made and play the next play. And that's still what we're preaching here, is play the next play.
Well, no scoring happens in the fourth quarter. As crazy as this game goes, gets into the fourth quarter, and seemed like towards the end of the game, maybe a little bit of desperation mode on your offense's part, and just weren't able to really move the ball much in the fourth quarter.
No, I mean, and you can go back even from the first quarter on. Really, the line of scrimmage, they played on our side of the ball all day. We did not win the battle in the trenches, and that's going to catch up with you. As pass happy as we are and all, and we still want to run the football.
Mm-hmm.
We run the football in many different ways. Sometimes our screen game is a form of our run game.
Absolutely.
But still, you've got to be able to run the ball between the tackles. And, their defensive line was on our side of the line of scrimmage all day long, and therefore put our rookie quarterback in a little bit of panic mode here and there, made us make some bad decisions. And, Pipkin's going to be a great player, without a doubt. But to put all that weight on his shoulders right there it's going to be tough.
Well, he was running around for his life, that's for sure.
Yeah, and not to say that, the offensive line didn't do some good things. I just felt like in the run game, we got to play on their side of the ball. We can't be playing on our side of the ball. And, and then defensively, they had a good game, but, right there we gave up 3 or 4 really long drives and made some mistakes as well that, we can't make those mistakes, and I told after the game, a lot of guys are upset and in tears, and it's good to see that it matters to us and that it hurts, because not too long ago here, I don't think the losses really hurt.
I think you're right.
Oh well, we're playing football, but it does matter. And so my speech to him after the game, and I didn't yell at him at the time because I know everybody's hurt and upset, and we are too, and very frustrated. But my speech to him there after the game is, guys, we got to continue to grow and become a family and learn how to play the next play, whether it's after a touchdown we've made or after a touchdown we've given up. and or after a bad call or a call that we think's a bad call. We can't let that be the deciding factor of, oh, well, here we go.
Yeah.
And learn how to just fight for 4 quarters. Now, hats off to Walsh. They fought for 4 quarters. They clawed their way back into the game and, figured out how to win it at the end, and that's what we've got to do, and then today, same thing with the guys, going through the film, watching mistakes. I told them, guys, look, we're not changing. We're not going to change how we're coaching you, how we're approaching work every day, and how we're approaching practice, and you guys can't change either. Winning needs to be an all-the-time thing, and we can't act like losers after we've lost a game. We still got to act like winners, got to hold our head up high and look in the mirror and say, hey, I'm going to get this done. I'm going to become better.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of life lessons here right now, but, I'm a firm believer in, hey, you might not always win every single game, but you can always be a winner.
Sure.
And that was kind of our message to them today. And, I expect us to come out and pick ourselves up and have a good week of practice and get after it some. But, right now we've got to make sure that we're together and not have a few individuals, season's not going the way we want. I'm not really worried about some of these details, or I don't care about some of these rules, because when that starts happening, we'll start going right back to the old way things used to be done here at Tiffin.
And this weekend is a great opportunity for your young men. You're playing a team as a top 5 team in the country. Ohio Dominican coming to town. It's senior day, top 5 team in the country, a team that for some reason gets a week and a half to prepare for you guys. They played that Thursday night CBS national television game, but quite a challenge your kids have this weekend. But like I said, it's a challenge, but wow, what an opportunity too.
No doubt. I told them that as well. I said, hey guys, there's no pressure on you, because you know why? Nobody in the world thinks you can win this game.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody but us. And again, if you go back to our first year here, we weren't even close in the games. We weren't even close. It was no competition.
I remember.
Last year, we were competing, but the games we lost last year, we lost them. And this year, we're not where we thought we would be. I expected to win a lot more games at this point of the season, but you can go and if we could take 1 or 2 plays from each of those losses, it's a different game.
Uh-huh.
One play at McKendree, we won.
Mm-hmm.
One play last week, and we won. So we are moving in the right direction, and no, we're not happy with where we're at, but the guys see it and they understand. If we could take that one mistake away, we win the game, and that's again some growing pains we don't want to go through right now, but it's part of it. It's part of football, and there's a lot of moving parts in it, and we are playing some young guys still, some freshmen and sophomores, and they got to learn to, that one cover lane on the kickoff could have prevented that kickoff return that ended up costing us. Or, I should have thrown the ball away right here when I got in trouble instead of trying to make too much happen, and it was a pick six. So, it is what it is. We're not happy, but you know what? We're going to stay the course, and we still believe in what we're doing. We're going to coach them hard, and the kids know that and need to see that.
Yeah.
If I came in here on Monday and said, that's it, we're changing everything, I'm sure the kids at that point would be like, what's going on?
Exactly. Well, that's the beauty of the game of football. It's 11 people that have to work as one.
Yep.
That's what makes it the best team game there is.
No doubt. If it was easy, everybody would be playing it and everybody would be coaching it without a doubt.
Yeah. Well, we got a couple of your student athletes who are going to join us today. Terry Harper, defensive player for you, and Seth Pico, your punter, is going to join us.
Seth Durr.
Oh,
Sorry,
Seth Durr.
I told you Seth.
You told me Seth. Okay.
No, it's going to be Coach
Durr, with the Durricane defense, as we call him.
Right.
Yes, absolutely. So let's step aside and take a break, and we'll come back and we'll talk to one of the assistant coaches, defensive coordinator Seth Durr, and we'll also talk to one of our student athletes, Terry Harper. All this and more coming your way next, right here on the Gary Goff Show on the Tiffin University Dragon Football Radio Network. Welcome back to the Gary Goff Show here on the Tiffin University Dragon Radio Network. Coach, we talked about the Walsh game. We'll talk a little bit more about the Ohio Dominican game. We touched on it very briefly. We'll talk about that more towards the end of the program. But one of your assistant coaches is joining us now. He's not the punter. He's the defensive coordinator. Go to introduce the gentleman to your left.
Yeah, we got Seth Durr, our defense coordinator. We've had him on the show before. And inside joke right there is I told Russ that Seth is going to be on the show. I said, oh, good, Pico's going to be here. So we've been kind of calling him Coach Durr Pico. But
no, I'm not the punter.
But no, Coach Durr, hey, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Oh, this isn't your first rodeo here, is it? You've been on this program with us before.
Yeah, a couple appearances last year, so I'm just trying to keep getting better every time I come out.
You already sound better than your first appearance.
Without a doubt.
Yes. Yeah. Well, welcome to the program, Coach Durr. This is what, your second season with the Dragons?
Yeah, that's correct.
And talk a little bit about your time here so far with the Dragons.
Well, I've been excited just to see the growth that we've been able to build here, and I think that we've talked a lot about trying to take this program to new levels, and I think we've been seeing steady improvement. Certainly, we would have loved to have a few more wins, but we know we're getting better, and it's been exciting just to work with the staff and their guys. I think everybody's really bought in, and we've seen some really great improvements.
Well, the continuity's helped a little bit. It's nice to have a staff where you've all worked together for a couple of years.
Yeah.
You start learning how everybody operates and what they're thinking, and same thing with just having like Joe Collard, for example, said he's had a defensive coordinator until Coach Durr got here. Every single year was a new guy. So those defensive guys they need the same guys so they can learn the defense, get better at it every year. So they're doing a good job over there. We wish we had a little bit more depth at some positions, but that's got to be taken care of in recruiting class.
Well, you finally got to see how your defense go on the scoreboard this past Saturday. Brian McCorkle, the big 53-yard interception return. That was kind of cool to see.
Exciting. It was good. We talked kind of about trying to generate some scores, and obviously turnovers are always a big deal for us. But to get some points off it, that was a great thing.
Well, you're easy to pick out on the sideline now too, Coach.
Yeah, I've been trying to upgrade my outfit so that everybody can see me. But honestly, our players, just with signaling, we're having a little trouble seeing me.
Oh yeah, well, it makes sense.
Communication is obviously key for getting the right calls in, and I wanted to make sure that I wore something bright so they could see me.
I really think it was one player too. They just think it was Joe Collard.
Was it?
And Joe just sometimes just wants to complain. I think he wanted to see Durr dressed in some crazy outfit. So.
He likes to stir the pot. It says I'm too short, so I can't do anything with my height, but I can wear something
brighten things up.
Yeah.
Well, talk a little bit about your squad on the defensive side of the ball this year. Talk a little bit about your line, your backers, and your secondary.
Yeah, well, Coach mentioned Joe Collard there up front. He's been a guy who's really been consistent for us, and he's done a great job with being more of a leader this year. We've been really excited about that. We're fortunate to have a transfer defensive end, Judah Milcar, come in. He's been really a guy who's given us a lot of production, has 4 sacks on the year up to this point. That's been a big deal for us. Added more depth up front, inside with some bigger guys and a few more D tackles, and that's definitely helped. We've had some injuries there, but tried to battle through it. And then we've really had some more linebackers step up. We're going to talk to Terry here in a little bit, who's been a guy that's stepped up, who a year ago was just a young player that we redshirted, and he's been a guy that's stepped into and done a very good job. And there's been other guys who've matured in that position for us, which has been great. And then our secondary has been more consistent this year. We've given up some big plays, but I think our guys have created some good turnovers and our interceptions here recently, and I think that we've been able to build on the experience we've had there to kind of be more consistent in our play week in and week out this year.
Talk a little bit about your philosophy when it comes to coaching the defense.
I really try to be an energetic guy, just as a philosophical way of coaching, and I think that's something that I've always bought into as a player when I played. But I think that defensively, we try to really take that energy and apply it to the things that we want to accomplish. And a couple things I talk about are really giving great effort to the ball, no matter where we are and what your role is on defense. Playing defense and being sound fundamentally, and with that, we always want to really try to stop the run. I think that's important in any game plan. Take away the run game as best you can, and then really be sound in the secondary too. Try to eliminate big plays. Making sure that we're eliminating mental errors to hopefully not allow those things to happen, and do whatever we can to create turnovers. I think that's something we talk about, but you also have to practice and implement to get your guys to buy into.
Well, I think it's easier too to probably for you to make adjustments, because you might have Willis, who obviously played in your defense last year. Well, this year, he kind of knows what you're talking about. He knows the language a little bit better, and so forth all the way down. Even though we're still playing, like Terry's kind of a first-year player in the defense, so still got some guys kind of learning the defense, but it's got to help the more returning starters you have.
Yeah, and we take that for granted a little bit because I feel like we do have good continuity with our staff now. It was great to see the carryover we had from our guys who were here last fall, last spring, coming into this fall now. You could see the first couple groups really step in there and know the base defense right away. So that gives us a lot of flexibility as a coaching staff to know that we've always have our base defense to fall back on. We can game plan some things every week. And there's times we do forget that a lot of these guys are young. They're true freshmen, redshirt freshmen, sophomores.
Coach yells at me for talking about that. He says, quit bringing up the youngness. He goes, I talk about it all the time.
Russ likes that. Hey, how's it feel to have an all-freshman backfield? Thanks, Russ.
Yeah. So, well, I think it's to us, we forget about that because we work with them so much, and those guys do have a lot of experience. But there is still a certain element of only having so many snaps, varsity snaps, when you look at guys who, we play against and maybe are now seniors who've been, played since they've been redshirt freshmen or sophomores, and that makes a big difference. So it's exciting to know that down the road, those guys we have, we'll have that same experience load, and we can really rely on those guys to do good things.
Well, we talk all the time about you can't replace game reps.
Yeah.
You can't simulate that. So this experience some of these young guys are getting is going to be very valuable to us down the road. So
when you talk about the continuity of the coaching staff, that's got to be just incredibly important, not only for the players, as you said, Joe having 3 defensive coordinators in his 4 years here, but just for the staff as far as preparation goes week to week, but also in the offseason preparation as well.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, when you're just able to know what you're going to get out of your coaching staff and everybody's on the same page on a daily basis, just makes the whole operation run that much better, not only from the scheme you're implementing, but like you said, to off-season duties, whether it's recruiting and as we interact with our players, but then also just preparing for spring ball and moving forward. So really love our staff. I think we have a lot of guys that are energetic, work very hard, also relate to the players well, communicate, and our teachers. I think that's really important.
Well, I think getting Coach Choizo was a huge gain for us.
Yeah.
Last year we had Coach Wilcox move on and get out of coaching altogether and take a job, and that opened up a position for us. And we kind of joke sometimes that we basically fired our D-line coach, which was Coach Durr. So Coach Durr went back to the secondary, which he's very familiar with as well, from the linebacker playing secondary, and then we hired Glenn, and Glenn has been a great fit, I think, all the way around, not only from his X's and O's, but also from his off the field duties and assignments.
Is he as goofy as he seems?
He's quick.
Fun.
He's very quick.
Okay.
He sees something or somebody makes a comment, he's quick to point it out or kind of make fun of it.
Well, you guys as a staff as a whole seem like you guys just really enjoy each other too, which has to make the whole game plan and everything a little
well, I
easier
think you have to in this profession. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of just pure fans out there that doesn't really know what goes into it. And my dad was like that. He's like, "What? Why are you working 10-hour days? It's not football season." Hey, we recruit. We still got a game plan. We got to prep for spring ball. There's a lot of stuff that goes into it. So we're with the staff a lot. So if you're working with somebody you really don't like, it's not going to work.
No,
it's not going to work. And we get our families together as much as we can. Some during the summer and during the holidays, which helps the wives because bless their hearts, they're widows during football season with the kids. So they need to talk to each other.
They're not the only one.
Exactly.
And I was at Coach Durr working with a head coach who's more of an offensive guy. It kind of gives you a little bit more of a, take care of everything on the defensive side.
Sure. That's been my experience in the past, most of my career as a defense coordinator. So familiar a little bit with that role. And I've been fortunate because Coach Goff has really given me the reins to do what we need to do over there. I know that situation isn't always the case in a lot of staff, so I'm very appreciative of that. He gives us autonomy to really take the defense and trust us to take care of how we want to do, operate and how we want to go about our business on a day-to-day basis. So that's been great, and I think that we all have a good working relationship, and it makes it nice because I think everybody trusts that the other guy's going to do their job. We're all going to work hard towards the common goal, and we cut up and have fun. And like Coach said, I think that's important because we spend so many hours here. You really, if you're around guys 10 or 12 hours a day, you better like them to enjoy your career. So. Yeah.
What kind of challenges are you going to be facing with Ohio Dominican's offense this Saturday?
I think they're just very sound at what they do. They're not real complicated, but they just run the ball very effectively. They make it pretty simple in the pass game to try to get the ball into their playmakers' hands. They don't necessarily ask their quarterback to throw it down the field a ton, but because they can run the ball and stay on schedule, it really helps their whole offense very well. And they do a good job with tempo. They'll go fast. I think that's going to be a challenge for us. We've struggled with that at times. So being prepared for that, being able to line up when they're going fast and be sound in what we do. But I think we have to really, be able to contain the run game. If we can't stop the run, that will make it difficult. But I think if we do that, get them into some longer situations, that'll really help us. Because I think that they rely on being into some second and short, third and short, staying on schedule. So they've got a good group up front that works together well. They've got 2 running backs that both are very capable of getting in the open field and making some plays. Their quarterback manages the game very well, will make all the throws they need to, and they're skilled on the perimeter. So just a sound football team that executes well. I think that's the challenge, is really being sound ourselves and not giving anything easy.
Well, the Hurricane defense will be ready for them, though, right?
Yeah, we'll be ready. And I think we're going to get them fired up. And I told our guys, hey, it's just about us and playing our best game. I think if we're sound and we go out and execute the way we're capable of, there's no doubt that we can stop this team.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about the student athlete who'll be joining us here a little bit, one of your defensive players before we let you out the hot seat.
Terry Harper is a young man who's from the Columbus area, went to Harvest Prep High School. We were very fortunate to get him. He really had a lot of great opportunities out there. Had some Division I schools after him, and so he's a big physical guy that really has done a great job stepping into our will linebacker role, learning the system, and just continue to see him grow week to week, through the spring and this fall. We really hoped that he would take the starting role. He did that, has grown, and he had a great game this past week, had 9 tackles, 2 tackles for loss, had a block punt that was a safety for us, and was a huge contributor. And he's a guy that we rely on and we're excited about in the years to come.
He scared us too right before signing day, Terry. You know what I'm talking about. We thought we had him committed and locked up, and he calls and says, "Hey, Akron just called and they want me to trip this weekend." What are you talking about? So, but that's in the rearview mirror now. He came here, and we're very excited to have him.
He's always towards the top of the list in tackles every week, I notice. That's for sure, tackling machine. So
he's playing good football right now.
Well, defense coordinator Seth Durr, thank you so much for your time. Appreciate you joining us again here on the Gary Goff Show. So we'll let you out the hot seat. You can relax now, and we'll talk to one of your student athletes right after this. Thank you so much, Coach.
All right, thank you, Russ.
That's defense coordinator Seth Durr here on the Gary Goff Show. Coach, let's step aside, take a break, and we'll come back and talk to Terry Harper.
Sounds good.
All right, stick around. You're watching and listening to the Gary Goff Show here on the Tiffany University Dragon Radio Network. Welcome back to the final segment of the Gary Goff Show here on the Tiffany University Dragon Radio Network. Coach, we talked to defense coordinator Seth Durr. Now let's talk to one of his defensive players. Why don't you introduce your student athlete to your left?
Yeah, like Seth said, we got Terry Harper here. He's from Harvest Prep down in the Columbus area. And I tell you what, Terry redshirted last year. We went against him every day. The offense did. And every day we walked on the field going, I tell you what, Terry's got to be a really good player. Because, when he hits you, you feel it. He's a big, strong guy that can run. And he's just got some of the natural instincts, to play linebacker. Mm-hmm. And, so he paid his dues on the scout team. It's pretty tough sometimes, isn't it? Yes, sir. And, now he's getting to play this year. And I think he's right in the top of tackles for us. Yeah. Had a big game for us Saturday with a big block punt. And, excited to have him be part of the program. So, Terry, welcome to the show.
Is your microphone turned on there, Terry? I'm not sure if Coach Durr turned it off. There we go.
There you go.
All right, well, yeah, Terry, thank you so much for joining us here on the Coach Gary Goff Show. It's our first chance to have you on the program, so yeah, thank you for joining us today.
Nice to be here.
All right, so tell us a little bit about yourself. What year are you here at Tiffany University?
I'm a sophomore, junior on the field.
And what brought you to Tiffany University?
On the field.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Freshman on the field. Coach said you guys scared him a little bit. He said Akron gave you a call there right before you're getting ready to sign your paper to say you're coming to Tiffany University. But talk a little bit about the path that got you to being a Dragon football player.
Well, I was only really offered by Coach Goff and Tiffany University and ODU, actually. It's ironic that he
had you on this week, huh?
He knows what he's doing. There's a method to his madness, Terry. I can promise you that. But you played your high school football in Columbus?
Yes, sir.
That's a darn good football down there in the high school ranks in the Columbus area. So yeah, got you very well schooled for the Division II football.
Yes, sir.
Terry, one of the things I'll never forget about Terry when he came and took his visit here, his mother brought him, and mother's very serious lady, isn't she?
Yes.
And we start talking about the grades, and Terry's got great grades. His grades in high school are really good. And so we start talking about, I don't even think his mom smiled at this point. I'm talking to her, and she's just staring at me. And I'm telling her, you know, we have study hall. It's non-negotiable. I know he's got good grades, but he's got to be a part of it. We got success coaches, tutors, you know, the whole 9 yards, right? And finally, you know, she kind of looks at me and smiles and says, well, Coach, I can promise you my son will be at all those study halls, and he's going to get his grades. And I said, well, yes, ma'am. I know now why.
Yeah.
I know why Terry's got good grades now. But, you know, great lady, and I knew right then and there that she would always have our back if he decided to take it easy in class or something, which he hasn't. But, you know, she's serious about his education, and so is Terry because of that. So, you know, I knew that that's the type of family we want here as part of our family as well. So, you know, at the end of it all, I think your mom looked at me and said that she trusts me by handing over her son. So,
Well, you talked about, we touched on it plenty of times, Coach, about bringing high character kids in. You like to bring in these high character kids that come from great families. It sounds like Terry's a perfect example of that.
oh, without a doubt. And you know, he is a sophomore in the classroom right now, but he's still just a freshman on the field because we redshirted him last year. So, you know, he's got 3 more years ahead of him where he can be a big difference maker on that defense for us. You know, because, you know, just watch him play. You know, he'll hit you now.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, what are you studying here at Tiffany University?
I'm a management major, and it's on nervous.
Oh, don't be.
It's all right.
It's all right.
I'm a management major, and it's a focus on sports and rec.
Okay.
Let's talk about it doesn't make you nervous. The football field had a big block punt last Saturday. I was telling Coach like they did Cumbia Matumbo. You got that big right paw up there and swatted that thing away. That had to be pretty exciting for you.
It was.
I thought you had a touchdown.
Yeah, I wanted to score. I went too fast.
Yeah, we went too far. We just
Yeah.
talked. We just talked on the show. I've never seen somebody block a punt and it goes straight out of bounds 30 yards. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
into the wind.
Well, it's great to be on the defensive side of the ball and be able to put points on the board for your team. That should just feel fantastic.
It was.
As was your mom at the game?
No. Yeah, she was.
She was at the game? Oh, good. Okay, because I didn't see her, so I didn't know if she was there or not. But that's got to be even more exciting. She was there to see your big play right there.
Yeah, she was in the stands going nuts.
And and how many tackles did you have on Saturday?
I had 9.
9 tackles, which is great.
Yeah, you're got to be one of the leading tacklers on the team this year, if not the leading tackler so far for your the defensive side.
Yeah, I think he is. He's been very steady, you know, all season. You know, I remember many staff meetings on Sunday morning looking at it going, you know, wow, you know, I didn't know Terry had 10 tackles, or I didn't know Terry had 8 tackles. He had a good game, didn't he? And I think every one of your games you graded out, you know, very high from Coach Eisen, you know, as a linebacker play with, you know, very few missed assignments, you know, and here's a young man that's really still learning the defense and learning how to play at this level. And, you know, Terry, this is one of the questions we always ask, you know, the guys on the team, you know, your first year playing college football, you know, what's the biggest difference? Is it the speed of the game? Is it the size of some of the offensive players? What's the biggest difference you think from playing from high school into college?
Maybe the speed of the game. I think it's more intense, definitely.
Yeah.
I love playing for the team, for the family. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Oh, hey, we're happy to have you, man. We're happy to have you.
Isn't that great to hear that, Coach? When you ask a young man a question like that, and one of the first things he says is, "I love playing for the team."
Right.
You know, that's fantastic.
Well, we stress that a lot,
Mhm.
you know, and you know, one thing we always talk about, you know, we've got some seniors now. They got 3 games left. You know, one thing we always talk about is us old guys now that are done playing. You know, we always look back and say, you know, hey, you know, those were some of the glory days. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
I still have some of my best friends were my college teammates. You know, and you're going to be no different than that. You know, and
it
you're-
gets by before you know it.
Oh, without a doubt. But you're going to look up and say, you know, who knows who it is, you know, but, you know, McCorkle might call you when they need something. You might be there for him right then and there, or vice versa, just because there's a guy you've gone to war with in the trenches, and you are family.
Yeah,
you have to
absolutely.
be family.
Yep.
You
Well,
know,
we talked about how important it was on the coaching side. It's just as important on the player side too. And this Saturday, it's senior day. How important is it to you and the rest of the kids on the team to make sure you guys go out and give the best effort you possibly can for those seniors for their last home football game?
Yeah, it's one of my biggest goals to send the seniors out with a bang.
Absolutely. And then next year, some of these seniors will be leaving. Time for you to step up and do more of a leadership role. You
Probably.
look forward to something like that?
Yes, sir.
and I think people listen to Terry too. You know, he's not a real loud vocal guy, but when he speaks, people listen, and when he grabs hold of you, you're going to listen, I promise you.
Yeah. Well, there's vocal leaders, and there's players that lead by their actions as well.
Sure.
Which category would you put yourself in?
Definitely an action leader. My mother taught me that.
Yeah. Lead by example, huh?
Mhm.
So your mom, tune into this. She get a chance to watch this on our YouTube channel and check it out as well.
I'm gonna tell her about it.
What if you had a goal to make sure that your mother was proud of you for your time at Tiffany University? What would that be? Probably make sure that you A, get your degree, and B, play hard on the football field.
Most definitely. I kept up with my end of the bargain, like Coach Goff just talked about.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, he's now. Are you the oldest? I can't remember.
Yes.
Yeah. So you'll be the first one to get through college and everything.
Yes, sir.
So sometimes that's a big goal right there. Is
Yeah.
just be the first in your family to get the degree.
Yeah.
So
Well, lead by example for your younger siblings, and also then lead by example with your younger teammates. As we said, you'll be moving into more of a leadership role over the next couple of years with this ball team. Not that you're not a leader now. I mean, you go out there and make those kind of tackles. Your name's at the top of those lists for tackles each and every week, leading by example as well. But as you move into that leadership roles and upperclassmen, that's where maybe some of the vocal part of it comes into the play as well.
Well, we've had another linebacker or two that's a true freshman this year, starting to play a little bit more and more, and Mike Covington. So I think our linebacker group right there, even though we're young, I think we can be really strong for years to come because, you got a lot stronger last year in the offseason. Wait till Covington gets in the weight room and gets strong too. So, there's two young players right there that the sky's the
Look at
limit
the core of
for.
that defense for the next few years.
Right.
What would you consider your strength on the football field?
IQ. I think I'm one of the smartest football players.
That's incredibly important, especially the linebacker
Linebacker.
position. Absolutely. What's the thing you think you could work on more?
I think I need to be faster, personally.
Well, it's always bigger, faster, stronger, isn't it, Coach?
That's our goal every offseason.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. But, hey, Terry's a pleasure to coach. He's a lot of fun to be around. And I remember, again, as freshman year, always going up to him and saying, hey, Terry, how's things going? I was always worried about how's things going outside of football for him because he's quiet, But then I think as he got more and more comfortable around me, Coach Eisen always told me, no, hey, Terry, he's a jokester and he'll smile and cut up with you. He's just, Coach, he's probably a little intimidated just because you're just the head coach. And so that always bothered me a little bit last year. And then I always try to talk to him. And, we've probably gotten a lot tighter over the last year. And now he'll smile and probably feels more relaxed around me. But, he's a great person. I love the fact that he comes from a family that is disciplined and driven. And, education means something to him. And I think we're going to be talking about this young man for a long time because he can put it all together and be a difference maker for us.
I'd have never guessed you were a quiet man when I watch you play football, my friend. You bring it. And it's fun to watch. It's been a pleasure to watch you so far this year.
Who's your favorite NFL player?
I'm most compared to DeMarcus Ware, so I love DeMarcus
Okay.
Ware.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No doubt.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No
NFL
doubt.
sack leader? Heck yeah. So briefly talk a little bit about playing for Coach Durr. He was just on here. He's gone now, so you can say whatever you want. He's not here to hear what you're saying, but talk a little bit about playing for Coach Durr and the way he schemes.
I like Coach Durr. I think he's real enthusiastic. He demands a lot, though. He demands a lot for you to know.
Do you guys feed off of his enthusiasm, you think?
Most definitely.
Most definitely.
Well, he's got two guys coaching him that were All-American linebackers, and Coach Durr and then Coach Eisen. Coach Eisen might be the crazy one of the group, but no, so he's being coached by two guys that understand the position, understand what he sees, understands the difficulties, and that goes a long way right there too. He's not being coached by a guy that only played DB and really doesn't get the linebacker play possibly.
Sure,
So.
sure. You love playing linebackers. Did you play any offense in high school?
Yes, I played running back
You miss that side of the ball at all?
a little bit.
But you prefer to stop running backs. What do you prefer? Stopping a running back in a hole or running over a linebacker as a running back in a hole?
Smacking him.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I thought, for sure. Well, Terry, thank you so much for joining us here on the Gary Goff Show. It's a pleasure getting a chance to talk to you. Best of luck. Continued success, not only in the football field, but in the academics. Make sure you give moms a hello for us as well, and hopefully we'll get a chance to meet her on the football games. But as we said, thank you so much for joining us here on the Gary Goff Show. Best of luck. Continued success. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
That's one of your defensive players there, Coach. But You told me not to talk about the youngness all the time. There you are, bringing a redshirt freshman on the program.
Well, hey, he's made a lot of plays for us this year.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, he's got a bright future. I think we got a bright future with him. And he's just another one of those guys that's a good football player, but he also takes care of business off the field.
Yep.
And we've all seen and heard about or coached great football players that are maybe not as good off the field.
Sure.
We don't want those headaches and that hassle.
No.
So Terry fits the mold, and he's going to be a big player for us, and we're very excited to have him.
That's why we call them student athletes, right?
Exactly right.
Well, big challenge for your kids this weekend, which also correlates to a big opportunity for Senior Day, as we said. Ohio Dominican come in. It'll be a 1:30 kickoff at Frost Cowan Stadium. Just give us a little brief overview about what Dominican's going to bring to the table.
Yeah, I tell you what, Conley does a great job down there. They do a good job recruiting. We go against them a lot in a lot of the recruiting battles, and they're very deep, I think, on both sides of the ball. We talked about what they do offensively earlier. Defensively, their defensive line is really good. It's probably the best defensive line we'll have faced all year. And their secondary is really good. They make a lot of big plays in the secondary. And they play hard. They play hard and they pursue the football. Exactly what you want a defense to do.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to have our challenges up front, without a doubt. But we've got to get the run game going. So we plan on doing that. And then we preached to the entire team today of let's go out there and have fun with this, because there's no pressure.
Yeah.
They put on online last week. One of the coaches showed me that they're one of the hottest teams in college football, period, second to maybe Ohio State, and they felt like they're going to end up undefeated. Okay, well, hey, still they got to play Tiffin. They got to
football this Saturday.
They got to finish the schedule. I mean, if games are won on paper, then why even
What's
play?
the point? Yeah.
So we got to take this as an advantage and feed off of it a little bit and go have fun with it. Not play scared. Don't play scared. Go have fun, because we're at home. We played them close last year.
Yeah.
So we just got to go out and coach hard, and the guys got to play hard and believe, because anything's possible. We see upsets all the time.
Yep.
So it'll be an exciting game, but don't mistake anything. They are a very good football team.
Sure, but as we see each and every week, it's not about what they do. It's about what we do.
No doubt.
All right. Well, it's this Saturday, 1:30 kickoff, the final home game, which still blows my mind. Only 3 weeks left in this football season. And that's going to do it for the Gary Goff Show today. Let's thank our sponsors. Our title sponsors are CF Professionals Incorporated, Gary Gruse's office, and the Ohio Mutual Insurance Group, Jim Kennedy's office. Our other sponsors include Ralph's Joy of Living, Seneca Hills Golf Club, State Farm Insurance, Steyer's Seeds, Tip and Ace Hardware, Viewpoint Graphics, Marco's Pizza, and the Pioneer Mill Restaurant. Well, Coach, do it this Saturday. Best of luck to you and your kids, and then we'll talk about it next Monday. Get ready for the final 2 road games to close out this football season. Thank you so much, Coach.
Thanks, Russ.
All right, for Coach Gary Goff, for Terry Harper, and for Coach Seth Durr, I'm Russ Snyder, voice of the Dragons, saying thank you so much for joining us today on the Gary Goff Show. And you have been listening to and watching us on the Tiffin University Dragon Radio Network.